Do you hear me?
I do.
Okay, and it's
We're
live.
here. Okay. And I wonder if we've got anyone else here. I'm just waiting for my, oh, here she is. My virtual assistant, Jenny, is here. Yay. Glad to see you. So are we live now, Jen?
Yes, you are.
Oh, great. So I'd really like to welcome everyone here, and especially Ilya from Florida, who's going to be my host when I come down to Fort Lauderdale in July, isn't it?
Yes.
So welcome everyone, and if you can hear me, please put in the chat, or if there's anything wrong, please put in the chat box your name and where you're from, because I'd love to see who's here with us. And please let us know if you're having any difficulties, because Jenny, who's the virtual assistant here, she's going to help and do her best to get you on. But it'll be great to get started. I've had Ilya on my programs before. We've got Marie Noel from Montreal. She was on my workshop in Montreal last year. Hi, Marie. It's good to see some other people.
Selena, Heather, Manon.
Manon, Bev.
Awesome.
Caroline, North Carolina. Great.
Ruthie,
so we've got people
Carrie.
from all around the world. Carrie's from here, from Sydney.
They're just pouring in.
California. Lisa from Melbourne, Jason in Toronto. So it's great to see, just keep on coming. It's great to see how everyone's here from all around the world. Julie, great, in Melbourne. So what I intend to do is introduce a little bit about what I do. There's many people here who know a little bit about what I do, but I guess I came into this work through the way the universe led me, through synchronicity. As an occupational therapist, I had always done relaxation therapy and really enjoyed it, but it was when I read Many Lives, Many Masters by Brian Weiss that I really wanted to become a hypnotherapist and a past life regression hypnotherapist. And when my mother died suddenly in 1999, that was then when I started on my spiritual journey. And in that spiritual journey, I came across people that did psychic development courses, and I learnt Reiki from my Reiki master. But it was during this time I also met a man after my marriage broke up who I had a strong soul connection with. And when we both did past life regressions together, I found that he was my soulmate in another life. In fact, in my last life, when I was in America, I lived in America, and he died in the American Civil War, and I was pregnant at the time. But before he went, I said to him, make sure you come home, and he promised that he would come home, that he'd come back to me, but he didn't. He died. And so we connected and met up again in this life because of a soul promise. And it was a very strong connection, and it was through that strong connection and past life regressions that we did together that opened my eyes to how much we are influenced by what goes on at a soul level that we're not even aware of. And since I've been doing the spiritual work and connected with the Cryon teachings and work, and if people out there don't know what Cryon is, go to cryon.com and go to the free audio and the free channelings and listen for yourself. But it was when Lee Carroll, who channels Cryon, decided to talk about mining the Akash and working with past lives and then activating them into the present, that's when I got really interested and created Quantum EFT and Mining the Akash. So after I'd trained to be a hypnotherapist and a past life regression hypnotherapist, I combined my EFT and also matrix re-imprinting into Quantum EFT and Mining the Akash workshops. And in those workshops, there was lots of amazing stories. And when I spoke to Lee Carroll, he said, right, you need to write a book about it. And so I wrote my best-selling book, Tapping into Past Lives. Now, this book has got a lot of the stories of people's past lives, and how they've affected them now. And my work's changed a lot since then, probably even a lot since I've worked with you, Ilya. But what I've found is that there are so many blocks and things that hold us back that we're completely unaware of that originate in a past life. And so they're soul level patterns. And I know, Ilya, you've had some experiences with that. You came from Florida all the way over to Santa Ana in California to do my workshop. And before that, you'd been a bit afraid of being in front of people. And we did a video there after a past life regression, and it's on my tappingintopastlives.tv website on Facebook, where we called it "They Sewed My Mouth Shut." Do you want to tell us a little bit about what that was, that experience for you?
Well, if I remember correctly, because you know how you tend to start forgetting once you resolve some stuff.
Speak up a little bit. Your voice is crackly again.
Oh,
For some reason it crackles in and out. Technology.
I know. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. It's just a bit crackly.
Crackly.
But that's all right. Just talk.
Is it okay? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well. Okay. So I think that was the regression where Thanks. That was the regression where I was some sort of priestess in a temple somewhere in I don't know if it was Egypt or something. The location I fail to remember, but the gist was that I was one of the priestesses in charge of making these special oils, and I had sold the oil to someone not of the faith, and I was reprimanded for it. But then I argued that, you know, as long as they're willing to pay, that anyone should, you know, be able to buy the oil, and they were going to use it for good, you know.
Yep.
But the people in charge were not happy with that, and I kept speaking my truth. So back then things were sort of harsh, and so when you went against the rules and spoke your truth, a lot of times you got killed over it. So what they did was they sewed my mouth shut, so I couldn't even speak from jail, or you know, they did one of those, you know, I wouldn't even call it a trial, but it was like you were in front of the elders and they made a decision what they were going to do with you, and I couldn't defend myself because my mouth was sewed, and then they decided that they would just execute me. So they cut my throat, but they didn't do a really good job, and then they set me. They thought I was dead, but I wasn't, and they set me on fire. And they just were so angry about everything that I had done or had said, like I had revealed too much information about the faith or whatever, what I was revealing to people who they felt I shouldn't be telling. So they didn't really do a good job even of burning my body. So I was there feeling all the pain and agony, and I wasn't able to speak. And one of the things that I had noticed all my life prior to that was that whenever I would get really extremely upset and start to cry, that I could not speak ever. Like I'd have to like cry it out and get out of that zone, and then once I was calmed down and after a little while, then maybe I could speak.
Yeah.
And so I had an experience afterwards that I don't know, I must have, you know, gotten upset about I had a memory about my mom passing away and got upset about it. You know how that happens when you're mourning a loved one. Every once in a while, something reminds you, and you cry about it. Well, that happened, but I was able to actually just talk through at the same time that I was crying.
Yeah.
Why I was upset, which was when it happened at the time, I thought, oh, I've never been able to do that before. So that was interesting.
Very interesting, and also the fact that you've got your own show now, childbirthwithgrace.tv, and before that there was this fear of being seen and speaking your truth, and we cleared that after the past life regression using quantum EFT. So with quantum EFT, I know there might be a lot of people on the call that know about EFT and that also know about matrix reimprinting, but they may not as well. So for those who don't, EFT is like emotional acupuncture without the needles, where we're tapping on different meridian points, and while we're doing that, we're tuning into a memory, and with that memory we're tuning into the emotions and the brain pathway of the emotions of it all, and the belief that it's set up. And so what had happened with you in that lifetime where they sewed your mouth shut is that you had that soul level pattern that was still sabotaging you, and you had no idea where that had come from until we did the past life regression, and then we did the quantum EFT session on it. And so with quantum EFT, what we do is after a past life regression, and even before, we tap about that actual memory and change it. However, a lot of the work that I'm doing in past life regression now, I'm actually changing it there in the past life regression. So,
oh, really?
Yes, you haven't experienced that yet. That's different to when I worked with you last. So, it's an interesting process, and until you've actually experienced it, I guess those who say, yeah, I believe in past lives, but I'm not sure about it, I've never experienced one for myself, and if you don't know if you've got a soul level pattern, from my experience with working with people, everyone has soul level patterns, because we are a soul, we're not just a human being in this lifetime. And so why wouldn't other lifetimes still be affecting us now, when that part of our DNA that we call junk DNA, which is the 90+% of our DNA is the quantum DNA, the multidimensional levels of our DNA that holds all of our Akash, all of our past lives. So we're walking around with all of those past lives still affecting us in our DNA. And the way I use EFT and quantum EFT in time, space, and place allows us to affect and change that lifetime and that belief that we created in the now, in that lifetime. Because although we're linear and we call it the past, it's all in the now. So, yeah, you've had many lifetimes that we've gone through. You also did my Transform Your Life program, which was pretty profound with all the different lives that you went to. I say to people who have had a problem that they seem to think that it's very deep or very ancient, or it's always been there, then that's likely to be coming from a past life, because it feels like it's part of them. Mm-hmm. And they might say, yeah, but I can remember it goes back to my 3-year-old self, or it goes back to the womb, and sure, we can clear that, but what if they are just triggers of the soul pattern? And we need to go to the origin to clear the soul level pattern. So I know we spoke yesterday, Ilya, because you interviewed me for your childbirthwithgrace.tv program that's coming out on the 25th. And you said that there was a lifetime that you went through where you were given the name, etc., and then you Googled her later and found that she was a real person, but you'd put it out of mind because she died in the 40s and you were already...
No, she died in the 1970s.
Ah.
And I had already been born. So I was thinking, this is really weird. I'm not understanding this because, I'm going to confess to you, and I don't know, should my, every time I talk, should I be on the big screen or should,
Yes.
I don't know. Oh, okay.
You are.
And I am? It just switches?
Yes.
But you're always on the, okay, because I don't know what's going on. Okay. No big deal. Anyways, the point is, yeah, she was a radio personality. I came up with a name, and I can't remember it right now, but it is recorded, so I could always go back. And each time we do a past life regression, by the way, I always Google what it was. I think one time I came up with a planet name, and it actually existed.
Yes.
That was, and I didn't know anything about it before, so I'm not an astronomy person. Anyway, so this one particular person, she was a radio personality. I had her name, and I Googled her, and she was like the very first woman on radio or something, I don't know, in the 1940s, and she actually even wrote, oddly enough, a book about being on other planets, which, as Jenny knows, I've had other lives on other planets as well. So the point being is, I thought, okay, she must have died. I was born in 1961, so she must have died, before I was born. Maybe that was the most previous life I've had, right? And I thought, oh, how interesting. But then, and she was a celebrity at the time, but she wasn't a big enough celebrity that it carried through the ages. Yeah. So in the information that was out there, all I could find was what show she was on, what book she wrote, and that she died somewhere like around 1971 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't find out too much more, and I kept thinking maybe it was someone else, and then I thought, wait, our lives overlapped. Mm-hmm. And so I just put it. I just said, I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Why would our lives overlap? And I just denied it. I just said, well, maybe it's someone else. Maybe it's not the right person. But even my husband looked her up and said, no, this is the person that you described. And I was just like, okay, whatever. I'm not gonna. But I didn't tell you, Jenny, because I was thinking, I don't know. Should I tell Jenny, make her all disappointed?
Well, it's interesting because that was, as I explained to you yesterday, and I do have several examples in this book that if you look closely, Vanessa had a couple of lifetimes where she was a Chinook helicopter pilot in the 60s, but she was also a German professor in the 50s. And it's my understanding, and from the teachings of Cryon and other spiritual teachers, is that our higher self, our God part of ourself, is always on the other side of the veil and is always part of every lifetime. But it's not always that only, a half of us comes down into a body. We might split a third into one body and a third into another body, and so that you can have parallel lifetimes or lifetimes that overlap, which is really interesting because there have been books written about that as well.
Oh, wow.
About
that's
parallel
great.
lifetimes. So yeah, I always find it interesting to just see what comes up. And so how about if we just get started with just a round of tapping just to get us into the
feel like we could talk about how nervous I am about doing a past life regression in front of all these people all over the world. Hello.
All right, let's start here. So even though we're both nervous, because we're doing this live, and we never know what's going to happen, when we do this sort of work. We never know what planet or where we're going to end up.
Yeah, we never know what planet where we're going to end up.
I call in our guides and higher self. To help us to remain calm. And to go with the flow of what's meant to be. I feel the peace around me. as I call in my guides and higher self.
as I call in my guides and higher self.
So top of the head, I ask to have the information brought to me that I need most now.
I ask the information brought to me that I need most now.
To unblock me and help me to move forward.
To unblock me and help me to move forward.
So that I can be in my highest self.
So that I can be in my highest self.
My highest power.
My highest power.
So that I can be the highest expression of myself.
So that I can be the highest expression of myself.
I ask the multidimensional layers of my DNA.
I ask the multi-dimensional layers of my DNA.
To show me the lifetime that is most significant for me now.
To show me the lifetime that's most significant for me now.
So that I can move forward into my highest expression of myself.
So that I can move forward into my highest expression of myself.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so normally what I do with someone when we're doing some quantum EFT before a past life regression is that we will focus more on that, especially if someone's got a theme that has been coming up for them in their lifetime.
I do have a theme. I know a specific block.
Yes.
So we cleared the block of me being in front of the camera and being videotaped and speaking my truth and all that stuff, but that tends to be like almost anonymous in a way. I mean, you know, like we have a list of people that's listening to us, but we don't see their faces or anything like that.
Yep.
And so now the next thing that I need to do is I need to actually get out in my community and start. I'm creating a 2-day workshop with what I do with it, which is childbirth with grace. And I want to get out into my community, and I keep thinking of that term. You can't be a prophet in your own land, kind of feeling.
Yeah.
You can't, because you'll get killed. So I'm not sure why, except I was brought up Christian, and how that's one of the in the Bible and all that, but yeah, so I went to my very first networking open house, and it went well, and I did meet people that were open.
So when you imagine doing that, going out there into your community and doing that 2-day workshop, is there any feeling in your body?
No, it's not necessarily the 2-day workshop. It's actually telling people, hey, I'm going to have this 2-day workshop.
Right.
Let your clients know, because I'm seeking for couples that are pregnant, and because it's a pregnancy workshop with EFT, and so I'm going to go to my previous colleagues that I used to work with in a real, being a midwife, a physical midwife. I now call myself a holistic midwife, right? So there's a part of me that feels like, okay, they'll be receptive, but then there's another, especially now that I'm not working as a physical midwife, because they won't think I'm stealing their patients. It has nothing to do with that.
So what about if we start tapping on that?
Yeah.
So
but I'm concerned that they'll just think I'm crazy.
Yeah. Where do you feel that concern in your body? That concern that they'll think you're crazy? My throat.
In my throat. Yeah.
Even though I've got this feeling in my throat.
I have this feeling in my throat.
When I think about telling my past colleagues.
When I think about telling my past colleagues.
About this workshop that I want to do.
About this workshop that I want to do.
What if they think I'm crazy?
What if they think I'm crazy?
I accept myself and this feeling in my throat.
I accept myself and this feeling in my throat.
This feeling in my throat.
This feeling in my throat.
Top of the head, this feeling in my throat.
This feeling in my throat.
When I think about telling my past colleagues.
When I think about telling my past colleagues.
What if they think I'm crazy?
What if you think I'm crazy?
I haven't been a midwife for a while.
I haven't been, I've been out of the, it's It's 2 years. It's only been 2 years.
It's
But
been
I've been in a little cocoon, and then I'm going to come out, and they're not going to recognize who I am.
They know me as someone else.
They know me as someone else.
I've changed so much in the last 2 years.
I've changed so much in the last 2 years.
My focus has changed in the last 2 years.
My focus has changed in the last 2 years.
What if they think I'm crazy?
What if they think I'm crazy?
I've got this feeling in my throat.
I have this feeling in my throat.
I'm asking the multidimensional layers of my DNA.
I'm asking the multidimensional layers of my DNA.
Where does this come from?
Where does this come from?
I choose to step through it.
I choose to step through it.
I ask my guides and higher self, where does this come from?
I ask my guides and higher self, where does this come from?
This feeling in my throat.
This feeling in my throat.
What if they think I'm crazy?
What if they think I'm crazy?
This feeling in my throat.
This feeling in my throat.
They think I'm crazy.
They think I'm crazy.
They will think I'm crazy.
They will think I'm crazy.
I've felt this feeling before.
I felt this feeling before.
I wonder where I felt it before.
I wonder where I felt it before.
Asking my guides and higher self to show me where I felt this before.
Asking my higher guides and higher self,
Where have I felt this before? I want to release it all the way back to its origin in the first lifetime.
I want to release it all the way back to its origin in the first lifetime.
The first time I felt it.
The first time I felt it.
I choose to release it all the way back to the first lifetime.
I choose to release it all the way back to the first lifetime.
Under the arm. The first time I felt this.
The first time I felt this.
So take a deep breath. Did anything come up for you as you did that? Any pictures or anything?
Like a lot of flashes. Is it okay to close my eyes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There was a lot of like flashes from different like lives, like pictures.
Mm-hmm. And this is often the case when we're doing quantum EFTs, that people will spontaneously have flashes of past lives. So is there any one of them that stood out, or explain what flashed by?
Oh gosh. Of course, one was that because I talked about the Bible. One was like the crucifixion scene, which that was just one, and then another one was I don't know. It was like during all these different times of upheaval, like.
Okay.
Okay. So I see I see something. There's this one time where I don't know. I see the person wearing a dress. I don't know, and it's dark.
All right, so we're already getting pictures of things, and what that does is just having a round to set that up is calling guides and higher self to show us, and the multidimensional layers of our DNA to show us where this is coming from. So I want you to relax now, and we'll go into the past life regression.
Okay.
So just allow yourself to relax. You've done this before. Finding that stillness within. Calling your guides forward. Feeling their presence. Asking your guides to take you to where you need to go to release this block and this feeling and fear in your throat, so that you can step into your highest power. And as you relax even more, hearing the sound of my voice, The more you relax, the more you want to relax. And you relax even more. This is the natural state of your body. Your body knows how to relax quickly and easily. And in a moment, when I ask you to take a deep breath, as you breathe out, you'll relax twice as deep as you are now. Taking that deep breath in now, breathing in, and all the way out. That's good. And as you relax even more, you go to that relaxed place where you're able to see, hear, and receive the information that you require. And as you imagine a beautiful colored light above the top of the head, that beautiful color, light, and vibration takes you to that place that you need to be, that state of relaxation, for you to go on this journey. Bring that color down through the top of the head, relaxing as it brings that relaxation down through the forehead, eyes, nose, cheeks, mouth, throat, neck. Relaxing as it goes, as you bring that color down through the shoulders, arms, forearms, hands, fingers. Relaxing as you bring that color down through the neck and shoulders into the chest, the trunk, all the organs of the trunk, heart, lungs, spine, all the way down, relaxing as it goes to the pelvis, bringing that color down even further through the hips, thighs, relaxing as it goes down through the knees, calves, ankles, feet, toes, and taking that relaxed feeling, going with it all the way down through Mother Earth, feeling nurtured and loved, warm and cocooned, going down deeper. The further you go down into Earth, the deeper you go. And you know where you're going. You're going to the beautiful crystalline cave, deep within Mother Earth. Your guides are with you. And as you go even deeper, when I count from 3 to 1, you'll be there in the beautiful crystalline cave with shimmering crystal diamond lights. 3, almost there. 2, 1. Be there now in the crystalline cave. Feel the energy of the cave and all the crystals that are there. Each crystal representing a soul. Each crystal containing all the lifetimes of every soul, of that soul. Feel the vibration, the beautiful diamond, the bright rainbow lights. And ask your guides to take you to your crystal, the crystal that contains all of your lifetimes. As you draw close to it, you feel the cells in your own body vibrating the closer you get. And when you're standing before your crystal, nod the head. Once again, hold celebration that you're here in this sacred space with your guides. And ask your guides to lead you to the lifetime that is most relevant for you now, that has the most significance, that is holding you back from speaking your truth and standing in your highest power. And when you're ready, place your hand on the crystal and feel yourself moving through time and space, faster and faster, faster and faster, moving through time and space, moving to another time and place that has relevance for you now, another lifetime. The faster you move, the deeper you go. And now you feel yourself coming down even deeper towards that lifetime. And when I count from 3 to 1, you'll be there. And when I ask questions, you'll answer with the voice clearly, and you'll remain deeply relaxed. Coming all the way down to that lifetime. 3, coming all the way down, deeper still. 2, almost there now. 1, be there now. Allow your energy to connect with the body. Answer with the voice. Are you inside or outside?
Inside.
Describe what you see.
I'm in a room with a panel. It's a dark room, so I'm in front of a panel of I don't know if it's a panel of elders or counselors and I'm being questioned. But I'm standing, so the floor is made out of black, like marble, and I'm wearing, it seems like a silver outfit of some sort. I don't know.
Are you male or female?
It's hard to say. Yeah. No, I don't think that matters where I'm at. No.
Are you on Earth?
I think, wait. I want to say I'm male, but it almost doesn't matter. Am I on Earth? I don't know. It doesn't feel like Earth. No.
You hear them call your name. What do they call you?
Eld.
Eld. And why are you before the council?
They're discussing they're discussing something that I did, or teaching, or I'm presenting. That's it. No, I'm presenting a type of teaching that I want to do, and they're asking me all these questions, and I'm feeling really uncomfortable because you can't see them. That's how this gets these proceedings are like that. You don't. They're not accusing me of anything. It's like I'm asking for permission to do something, a type of teaching, and they're all in the dark while I'm in light. Like there's a spotlight right on me, above me, and so I can't really see them. They're in the shadows.
And you've got an uncomfortable feeling?
Yeah, it's almost like I thought it would be easier to present it to them, but now that I'm doing it, it just feels uncomfortable. Like they're asking. I didn't realize it would be so critical. I don't know. It's an uncomfortable feeling. That's all I can figure. And I feel it like in my chest.
So I want you to float above that.
Okay.
Floating above that scene, up into spirit, so you can look down above. You can see the body you were just in the spotlight, and the council all around in the dark. As you float even higher, higher and higher, floating all the way up, way above that into the spiritual realms, connecting with the higher self, to that place where the masters and the higher light beings are, where you receive higher learning. Higher learning for the soul. And ask, what is it that is the lesson and the higher learning and the message for you in that lifetime? Speak the message that you hear.
The message that they're telling me is that they're in the dark because you're actually on stage and talking to an audience of people. So that's why they seem like they're in the dark. But they're not in the dark. There's other lights there. And they're just saying it's okay. It's okay to be nervous, but that you had all the answers to their questions, so not to be afraid of questions. To just think about what questions they would ask and just have the answers to those questions ready. Because you do have the answers to the questions. It just feels like when you're in the light, like the limelight is what they're saying. When you're in the light, when you're talking and there's a light on you, it just seems like there's no one else out there. But they are, and they're listening. They just have questions, and it's just questions. It's not anything heavy. And that, yeah, you are going to feel it in your throat because that's a normal sensation when you're, speaking, because that's the energy center for speaking is in your throat. So to not be afraid of that feeling, it just means that that energy center is being activated. And that's why you feel it.
So feeling it as an activation rather than an uncomfortable feeling.
Yeah, it just they're saying it feels uncomfortable in your human body, but they're saying to just work on that chakra, opening it up and opening it up every day with the healing with your hands that you were taught. That's what they said to do. Just keep to do that every day. That you have to do that every day. Is to open up not all your chakras all at once, but open them up. Yeah. And then eventually you're not gonna feel the sensation in your throat anymore.
So I want you to imagine that you've already done that throat opening chakra practice and bring this knowledge back down.
Yeah, no, it's a knowledge I already have. That they were just reminding me that I have to use it.
Okay, so bring that back down, that knowledge, that higher learning, coming all the way back down to that place in the spotlight. Feeling the throat feeling as an activation, as an opening. And rather than feeling criticized or anything else, you just feel the questions and you answer them appropriately. And as you answer them, you feel even more empowered. And your throat chakra opens even more. What's happening now?
No, I'm answering their questions and I'm hearing them and I'm answering them and I feel calm. I'm actually walking around talking as opposed to just feeling like stiff in one spot, like that frozen feeling. I'm not feeling frozen anymore. I know that they're really not in the dark. I could see the lights, sort of the dimmer lights next to them, so yeah. No,
So as you walk around and you're answering their questions, you feel more confident.
Yeah, I don't feel frozen. I don't feel. That's how I was feeling before. I was frozen, but
not anymore. Great. So I want you to float above that now. Feeling that confidence. Feeling that feeling in the throat as an activation and a confidence. Floating way above, higher and higher, higher and higher, all the way up, as high as you can go. Connecting with the higher self and the oversoul, and asking what it is that is of most significance, of higher learning, for the soul that is Ilya in the current incarnation. Speak what you hear.
They're saying that we're always with you, so we'll always lead you to what you need to speak about, and to keep doing what you're doing. I'm on the right track. They're telling me I'm on the right track. Just keep the steps. Don't rush things. It's gonna all happen. Just don't give up, because everything is falling into place. And that we're always here with you. We're always here in your heart. Whenever, yeah, they're saying whenever you feel any signals from your body that you're tired, then listen to them. You're tired, so rest. And when you're always sending signals to that the 1111 that I keep seeing, and whenever I see the numbers, that's I'm doing the right thing. I'm looking it up, and the signal is that the messages are always there. So not to worry. Just keep doing the work. That's what they keep saying. Just keep doing the work. You're doing fine.
Great. So thank the Masters for the messages, for guides and higher self. And bring all that information back down with you, back to the crystalline cave, coming all the way back down, bringing all that knowledge and information and experience with you, coming all the way down back into the crystalline cave. 3, 2, 1, be there now. Back in the crystalline cave with your hand on the crystal, asking your guides to tap on your meridian points, tapping in and activating all of that knowledge into your body, into the 3D parts of your body, into your energy system, feeling them tapping. As they tap in that information, activating it, having it speak to the blueprint of the stem cells. You're on the right track. They're always with you. Listen to your body. Listen to the signs. They'll always bring you the right people and the right situations. Open your throat chakra every day. Don't be afraid. You'll always have the answers to the questions. They're not grilling or criticizing you, they're just asking questions. And when you feel that throat activation, it will merely feel like throat activation, and you'll celebrate it. And you'll feel empowered with each question that you answer. Looking forward to their questions. Looking forward to answering them. Feeling empowered. Just like in that lifetime experience. You're on the right track. You're never alone. Listen to your heart. And when the guides have finished tapping, Take your hand from the crystal. All that information now, part of you. As you move up through all the layers of earth, coming back into the physical body, bringing all that information with you now activated into the 3D. Having it speak to the crystalline of Mother Earth as you pass through all the layers of earth, imprinting it into the earth layers, coming all the way up to the surface, up through the bottom of the feet, the calves, knees, thighs, hips, pelvis, bringing that energy up through the trunk, all the way up to the shoulders, arms, forearms, hands, fingers, bringing it up through the head, all the way up through the top of the head, out into the energy field, all the way out into the future, the past, all the way around you. Seeing yourself out in the future, speaking with confidence, answering questions with confidence, your throat chakra open and activated, not fearing questions but enjoying and encouraging them, feeling empowered by them, feeling even more empowered as you answer them. And bringing that feeling back in through the heart, having it speak to the blueprint of the stem cells. It's part of you now. And as you move forward out into the future, you'll have a sense of déjà vu, having already imprinted your energy out there. And when I count from 3 to 1, you'll be all the way back, aware, relaxed, energized in your body. When I count to 1, you'll open your eyes. 3, coming all the way back, blood pressure coming back to that which is normal for you. 2, moving your body, wiggling your fingers and hands and toes. 1, opening your eyes, coming all the way back. How is that for you?
Well, that was interesting.
So often when we do past life regressions, we do more than one, but due to the time frame, it was a significant one for you anyhow.
Yeah, I thought we were going one way, and then suddenly that room appeared, and I think this is the first time that when you brought me to the higher, all the way up to the higher realms, that I felt like I was really there.
Yep.
Yeah, felt really good. Not a place to want to leave.
Yeah, and I've had people say that before. That
and when I was in the cave, of course I was in the cave before you said going into the cave, and I was dancing around and hugging my guides before you said to do that. And I was like, okay, when is she going to say touch the crystal? I was actually hugging the crystal. I was like, oh, yeah, we do this. And then, but I think the sensation of my guides tapping, that was really cool. That was a new one. I don't think you did that before.
Yeah.
I've done that a lot lately. I actually could feel them because I hugged them.
Yep.
Yeah, there's 3 of them, and one's an animal, so I got to hug the animal and the Black Panther. Anyways, I got to hug, and it was like, it was really that was really nice.
So normally I follow that up with some physical tapping as well with quantum EFT, but we've run out of time for that. But what I wanted you to do now was to just imagine going to your past colleagues and telling them about this 2-day workshop that you're doing. And how does that feel for you?
It feels fine. What I need to do is just go ahead and make the workshop so it's ready to go. for when
Mm-hmm.
you send me the clients. That's all.
Yeah.
Really, that's the only thing that is. I don't feel resistance actually going to tell people
Yeah.
at all right now.
Yeah.
Now the angst is more like, okay, let me go ahead and it's almost created. I mean, it's on paper, but let me really flesh it out,
Mm-hmm.
and so that I'm ready because they may actually send me people.
Exactly.
How about that?
Yeah, so now it's about you being able to just move forward into that, and you don't
Yeah.
have that blockage feeling in your throat like, oh, they're going to think that I'm crazy and all that sort of thing. It's like, oh, now I need to move forward and do this and do
No,
that.
yeah.
And
No,
have,
actually, I don't have that at all. I have the sensation of they're going to say, oh, great, I can send you, these people are having a hard time because
mm-hmm,
my workshop's all about managing your fear
yeah,
before
yeah,
childbirth. So, yeah, right.
fantastic. Mm. And so we don't know whether you were on another planet then or what, but it doesn't really matter. It was about the
It does.
sensation and
It
the
was,
learning.
yeah. Yeah, it felt like another planet. It felt different,
Mm.
but it was really more about the sensation
hmm And that's
of,
the thing with this work. I don't question where people are or what they say they're doing. It's about what's going on for them in their body, what's the sensation, what's the feeling, what's the belief, and then going into higher learning and getting the higher learning and then bringing that back down and applying it and shifting things. And it's often been very, very powerful that because it's shifting things in time and space, and then we're getting information as well from guides and masters and higher learning to apply now for the current incarnation as well.
yeah.
So
Great.
thank you for that. And
You're welcome. Thank
what
you.
I'd like to do is answer some questions and what's some of the questions we've got here. Oh, well, before I go into all the questions, I'd like to just let people know about the offer that I've got. And obviously I'm coming back to North America again shortly, within less than a month actually. So my first workshop is in Seattle, which is June 18th and 19th. And in Toronto, I'm in June 25, 26, Ottawa, July 2 and 3, Montreal, July 9, 10, Amherst, New Hampshire is July 16, 17. Pembroke Pines, Fort Lauderdale area is July 23, 24. Larchmont, New York, July 30, 31. And Salt Lake City, Utah is August 6 and 7. And what I've got there is, Jenny, if you'd like to pop up the workshop offer I have. There is
It's all up.
Is it? Oh, good. Is that I've got the $100 off for any of those workshops that are it's only available for the next 4 days, so till May 16th. And that includes, I've got a workshop in Brisbane coming up in 2 weeks, 21st and 22nd of May, and also in Wellington, New Zealand when's that? November 5th and 6th. And you can go to those on my quantumeft.com.au/workshops and put in the code webinar in capital letters 16 and you'll get $100 off. And some people have already booked for some of those workshops, so I'd also like to give $100 off my Transform Your Life program. And Ilya, you did the Transform Your Life program when I first brought it out, which was very intensive over 6 weeks, where we did 2 sessions a week, whereas now I do 1 session a week, or we can squish it into, however many weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Usually it's 1 session a week where we do a 2-hour past life regression and quantum EFT session. Next week a 1 hour, the next week a 2 hour, and the last week a 1 hour. So that's normally $9.99 Canada or Australia, and $7.29 for the US, and I'm having $100 off for that, and that's only in the next 4 days if you book in for that. And the way that you do that is you book a free 15-minute a free 15-minute session with me, a consultation, where we discuss your needs. The other thing that I have is a 6-week quantum EFT package, which is 6 weeks of 1-hour sessions, and they're normally $9.80 for Canada and Australia and $7.50 for the US, and I'm having them as $100 off as well. So there's also 2-hour past life regressions that you can have, and I'm also offering a 1-hour session if you'd like to just dip your toe in and test the waters, a 1-hour quantum EFT session at the concession price. So normally it's $140 for the US, the concession price is $120. Normally for Australia and Canada it's $180, concession is $150. So that's all the offers that are only there for 4 days. The free 15-minute consultation is a great way to connect with me and say, well, I'm not sure what I want to do, and we can discuss what your needs are and I can help guide you for that. So I also have tappingintopastlives.tv, where you get the first 3 chapters of my book for free, and there's a whole lot of information there. What else? If you're not on Facebook, you can't get onto that website, so you can get onto quantumeft.com.au/ebook-offer, and you get all the videos from the book, as well as the videos from 3 of the videos from the last North America tour, one of which is Ilya's They Sewed My Mouth Shut, and 2 of the other videos are from people in Montreal, which I see they're both on the call. So that's a little bit about that. Now, some of the questions I've got is, yes, in the workshop I do hypnotherapy as well as quantum EFT. In the workshop we do a lot of practice of quantum EFT. We have a lot of speaking to the blueprint of the stem cells, speaking to the multidimensional layers of our DNA. I'm very instructional in that we are speaking to that quantum part of our DNA. We're asking our guides and higher self to take us to where we need to go. We do 2 past life regressions in the workshop. The first one is with the intention to unblock or release something that's holding us back. So we're dealing with trauma, unfinished business, that sort of thing. And somebody said, is there any danger in this work? I always have make it feel a very safe place, and I have things like if at any time you feel threatened or scared, or you don't want to be in a position, then float above it. So whenever I take people to it, I always state that when we're doing a group regression, that you just rise above it, not feeling it, just observing it. Like I had one lady in one workshop who was quartered, and that's when they get pulled apart, arms and legs, and it was pretty horrific. But we got through that by rising above it, and that's on my YouTube channel, EFT Australia, one word. I think that was about profound forgiveness. So she managed to give profound forgiveness to those people who quartered her when we went through the higher learning, etc. So what else do we have? What other questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Because of the safety question, and I mean, I've been to your workshops, I've worked with you, so, and it's always been a very safe place, but with all your experience, have you had anyone have like an ab reaction or were you able to pull them up out of it, or
yeah,
like, I guess the minute you get a sense that this is not a good spot. You have them. I know
Yeah.
I had one regression where I don't know, they mutilated me or whatever, and you're like, no, float above that.
Obviously, I'm keeping.
Yeah.
That's why my workshops are so intimate and small, because I keep. I hold the sacred space, and the whole time we're doing this, I do a figure of 8. You're in a safe, sacred space over everyone, and I'm very much watching everyone's faces, so that if I see any inclination of, you know, panic or fear or anything, I'm always having people rise above. But I put that in at the start of the hypnotherapy as well, a bit at the start of the regression, and make sure that everyone feels safe and that their guides and higher self are there with them. So
yeah, I think that's that's probably why it doesn't happen. Now that I think about it, because you know,
and a lot of this is
you feel alone. Yeah, intention, right?
A lot of this is intention and calling on guides and higher self, and having that higher intention to clear something that's in the way, or then to go like the second. Oops, my earbuds keep falling out. I just don't have the ears for this. I've got small ears or something. It's about the second one. We go with the intention of finding something in a past life that is positive, that we bring back, and they've been quite amazing as well. And that's what I'll do. The next webinar will be a Mining the Akash webinar, where we'll do something with someone that way. So somebody said, can we tap into something for our own use? Yeah, it's probably harder to get to past life traumas, because when you're doing it by yourself, because the body will not want to take you there. So I always recommend that you do this with someone who knows what they're doing.
But you do have that one, like when you sign up for the workshop, do you still give the meditation that you were giving before? So that's sort of like doing it on your own, because you're there. Yeah, but you're not going anywhere crazy.
Yeah, exactly. So I do have the 2 recorded past life regressions that you get sent to you when you sign up to do a workshop, and you get a workbook, etc. So there's a lot of preparation too. I give exercises to do in the workshop as well. So yeah. All right. Any other questions? Yeah, so people have gone into past life or past deaths doing Reiki and body talk and shamanic work. And yeah, often I'll have people say, yeah, I've had this experience of a past life and I don't know how to deal with it. So we'll tap on that and use quantum EFT and instruct the multidimensional layers of our DNA to process and release it all the way back to its origin. I've got Akash and Akashic records are the same thing. Yes, your Akash is the total sum of all of your lifetimes that you've ever lived are stored in your Akash, which is in your body. It's also stored in other places, and that's one of the channelings that we listen to in the workshop, the Akashic system from the Cryon work. But yeah, often people will say,
I'm sorry, there's someone there that says they're in the UK and they would really love to do sessions with you. How do you do it? Does it have to be in person?
Yes.
Answer that one. You want to answer that one?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, most of my work's actually done on Skype, and on Skype it's just like this, and I record it for you and then send it to you so that you can watch it when you're in consciousness as well, because you get a lot more out of it when you watch it again with your consciousness.
Yeah, so that person needs to book your 15-minute thing. I think it's AJG. Book her a 15-minute consult with her, because I did it on Skype. I've done it with Jenny live, but then the whole Transform Your Life program, which is 6 weeks. I'm in America, you're in Australia, so it was all on Skype, and it was wonderful.
Yeah.
It was,
I don't think I've done any Transform Your Life program in person. It's all been on Skype, and they've been with people all around the world. So it's just a matter of scheduling it with the online scheduler.
yeah.
Have you ever had people who's challenging to hypnotize? Not really, no. I haven't had any problems. I've had some people in the workshops that at first they haven't, I better put myself back on, they haven't had a lot of detail, but the more that they do it, like the second time round, they tend to get more. And the same with people who have done my workshops, the more that they do the workshop, because you can review it or repeat it for half price, they get more and more out of it each time that they do it. And like Ilya, when you were doing the Transform Your Life program, you had, each time we went there, you got deeper, quicker, and more information from a higher self and guides.
Oh yeah, it was great. Even at the end of a session, there was times where my guides were saying, "Tell her to work on this next," and so
that's right.
and you would have to take notes so I wouldn't forget,
Yeah.
And, so
Yeah.
I thought that was, and even today, it's like the more you do it, it's like exercising, the easier it gets. 'Cause I know there's always, the whole time, there's always a part of me that was a little bit like, oh, I'm just making this up and that kind of thing. But
and I addressed that too. I addressed that.
But the more I looked it up, it's great.
Yeah.
I got more.
And I addressed that at the start when we're doing that in the workshops or private sessions, that part of your brain that is your consciousness will always be questioning it and saying, I'm just making it up. But it is that part of the brain that we call imagination, that's what we work with. That's the part where your guides and higher self can be speaking through. So we could talk forever, but we've been going a long time, and I probably should close off and say that if people have got other questions, please book a free 15-minute consult with me and let's chat in person.
There's
or
one more question.
Send me an email.
Do you see it?
When you're working in a group, would we all go under together? Yes, we do. We do. We all go under together, and that's why I have a small group with the workshops. They're not massive, and I always keep them under 20 people. And in that way, I've got much more control, and it's catered for everyone going on their own journey. And there's many. If you go to my YouTube channel, EFT Australia, there's a Quantum EFT playlist, and you can look at lots of people's explanations about what happened in their process when they were taken in a group situation. All right, so I think we should finish up there, and thank you so much, Ilya, for being my guest, and I'll see you in Fort Lauderdale.
Yes, no, I'll see you in Arkansas.
Oh, yes, I'll see you at the Cryon event in Arkansas.
All righty.
So thank you. Bye. Thank you, everyone, for being here, and stay tuned. I will be doing another webinar soon that will be about mining the Akash. And thank you so much for everyone being here. Thank you.